I didn't mention that Northwestern has what is regarded as one of the United States' leading journalism schools. It's true. Which is why they also have a daily student newspaper. So this isn't just a hobby or an extracurricular, this Northwestern, Daily Northwestern paper I've been quoting from. It's training for baby journalists. Here's one of their student reporters covering Jeff Sessions' speech, or more accurately, covering the protests outside. Here's another one. Protesters tried to rush the room where Sessions was speaking. Okay, here's the report on the protests in the newspaper. Really nothing about the speech itself. Students protest Jeff Sessions' speech, police presence. So let me read a little bit because it's a window into what it's like on campuses these days. And I don't think it's much better up here in Canada. Students on Tuesday protested Northwestern College Republicans' decision to host former Attorney General Jeff Sessions, chanting outside Lutkin Hall before attempting to interrupt Sessions' talk by climbing through open windows and pushing through doors. Around 150 protesters, some holding signs reading "No concessions, no racism, no KKK, no fascist USA, and Sessions is a traitor," gathered outside the lecture hall before Sessions was scheduled to speak at 7 p.m., booing and yelling as attendees entered the building. Sessions' talk, hosted by NUCR, was titled "The Real Meaning of the Trump Agenda." Some protesters chanted, "Hey, hey, JBS, you got us into this mess," and ICE, KKK, how many kids have you killed today? While others called attendees clowns and urged them to stop disguising their racism as free speech. Okay, so they're a bit crazy, or maybe more than a little bit crazy, and they're lying, by the way. In fact, I think I mentioned before that Sessions was a prosecutor back in Alabama before he was a senator. He's the one who almost 40 years ago filed civil rights charges against the KKK for killing a black man. That bankrupted the KKK in Alabama. So yeah, sort of the opposite of a racist, but that's too much journalisming for Northwestern. But look at this, look at this. A few days after Sessions' visit, look at this editorial in the student newspaper, addressing the Daily's coverage of Sessions' protests. Okay, what do you have to say? Last week, the Daily was not the paper that Northwestern students deserve. Huh? On November 5th, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions spoke on campus at a Northwestern University College Republicans event. The Daily sent a reporter to cover that talk and another to cover the students protesting his invitation to campus, along with a photographer. We recognize that we contributed to the harm students experienced, and we wanted to apologize for and address the mistakes that we made that night, along with how we plan to move forward. I'm sorry, I just read it. What? You were reporters. You contributed to the harm. You ran a story that was pretty much 100% in support of the protesters and against Sessions, by the way. What on earth do you mean? Well, I'll read some more. One area of our reporting that harmed many students was our photo coverage of the event. Some protesters found the photos posted to reporters' Twitter accounts re-traumatizing and invasive. Those photos have since been taken down. Sorry, guys. On one hand, as the paper of record for Northwestern, we want to ensure students, administrators, and alumni understand the gravity of the events that took place Tuesday night. However, we decided to prioritize the trust and safety of students who were photographed. We feel that covering traumatic events requires a different response than many other stories. While our goal is to document history and spread information, nothing is more important than ensuring that our fellow students feel safe. And in situations like this, that they are benefiting from coverage rather than being harmed actively harmed by it. We failed to do that last week, and we could not be more sorry. Really? You couldn't be more sorry. This is the sorriest you could ever be in the whole world. You know, that whole safe spaces thing, that whole triggering thing, I think that was just supposed to be a meme or like a joke or sarcasm. It's not unsafe to take photos of protesters. That's actually why protesters protest. It's why people bring signs to protest and have those rhyming chants. They want to spread a message to the public. It's why they're in public. But get this. Some students also voice concern about the methods that daily staffers use to reach out to them. Oh, okay, this is going to be really bad. Some of our staff members who were covering the event used Northwestern's directory to obtain phone numbers for students beforehand and texted them to ask if they'd be willing to be interviewed. Okay, so where's the bad part? We recognize being contacted like this is an invasion of privacy, and we've spoken with those reporters along with our entire staff about the correct way to reach out to students for stories. So don't use phones, or is it don't use phone books? So you're saying journalists politely contacting people whose names are in a public phone directory, asking nicely in advance if they would like to be interviewed, that's actually journalism. Now, sometimes the answer to such a journalist inquiry is no, or even to say no very rudely. Hell no. Okay, well, that's part of journalism too, but to apologize for that? That's an extremely long and boring op-ed by Northwestern, the Daily Northwestern. And I keep thinking, this is satire, right? This is like The Onion or the Babylon Bee or some joke. No. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.